We continue honoring the inductees for the Sports Hall of Fame here in Brevard County for Central Florida and the Space Coast. But with me is Rusty Buchanan. And Rusty, you have two titles, long titles, and share with me the titles, because I know you got one going on over here in Brevard County, but then you got the AAU.
That's right. Well, Danny, I can't make it on one, so I got to bounce back and forth between the two, and hopefully it'll all come together and work out for me. But I do have several hats I wear. I'm the executive director of our sports commission here in Brevard County, and very, very happy about our county's efforts to bring tourism in. We've started as only the third sports commission in the state. Today there's 20-some, been here 20-some years doing that in Brevard County. But as you alluded to earlier, I'm also the national vice president of the AAU, the Amateur Athletic Union of the United States.
All right. Now, over all the years that you've been involved, and you were an athlete yourself. You were a runner, right?
Many years and many pounds ago.
Track and field, right?
That's correct, yes, at NC State.
And you qualified for the Olympics, but it was the year of the boycott?
Well, that's correct. I went to NC State my freshman year. I was second in the Atlantic Coast Conference in the high hurdles, finished ninth in the United States, and that was in the mid-'70s. And probably reached my peak as an athlete around 1980, and of course that was the year that the United States boycotted the Olympic Games for reasons that we shan't discuss. The Russians invading Afghanistan, of course, and it left a little bit of a gap. But the ironic story I'll tell, and I'll do this very quickly. 30 years later, Danny, I was asked to participate in the Vancouver Games as an administrator. Right. And I was asked to do that in large part because of what I'd learned in sports in terms of the goal setting, teamwork, sportsmanship, fair play, those types of things. As a result of all that, I spent a month in Vancouver in the Winter Olympic Games as an international liaison. At the conclusion, was called in the back room, and they said, the most important thing in the Olympic Games is not to have conquered all, but to have taken part. And that's the reason that there's actually 4 Olympic medals. There's the gold, the silver, and the bronze. But there's also a participation medal given to all the participants. Oh, okay. Because in the Olympic Games, as in life, the most important thing is not to have conquered all, but to have taken part and given your best. So on behalf of the International Olympic Committee, we'd like to present you with your Olympic medal for participation in these games. So of all things, I now have an Olympic medal, albeit pewter, from the Winter Olympics when I was a summer guy. But it all harkens back to those lessons that we learn in sports, and I count on those things every single day. Right.
And there's one moment, I know there's hundreds probably, but give me one moment and share with me one that whenever you think back on it, it always puts a smile on your face. It could be, bringing so many teams into Brevard County or even working with your own career.
Well, this one's going to be tough to beat tonight, because I never in a million years thought that I would be an honoree in this type of environment as an administrator. So tonight is very special. I get to share it with my friends and my family. And one thing that I have learned is that true wealth in life is not gauged by how much you have of value, but by how much others value you. And tonight I feel like a very wealthy man.
What a privilege it is to have Jack Kenworthy with us, because he is the, Lifetime Achievement Award winner for tonight on our Space Coast Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Jack. And
Thank you.
You've spent, the majority of your life trying to not only be involved in sports, but to promote sports. And you started even on the junior college level, right?
Oh, yes, that very much so. That was a big part of my career, was at the community college, yes.
Right. Now, community colleges quite often are 2-year institutes, and they don't have a lot of athletics, as opposed to the 4-year colleges.
Well, in baseball we did. We were fortunate in baseball and basketball for community colleges in Florida. We were fortunate, and so the weather was in our favor, and we did have some good programs at Brevard Community College.
What is your favorite sport to either be in or to coach?
Baseball. It'd have to be baseball. I played it, I coached it, I umpired it. Now I watch it on MLB Network.
There you go. Now, Jack, think back, and I know there's more than one memory that brings a smile to your face, but share one of them with us, that when you think back on either your career or the things that you invested in students, what brings a smile on your face automatically, just when you think about it?
Well, I guess it would have to be a 1975 state championship team that we had. I had no idea we were going to be that good, and it was a good lesson for me as a coach that people can really exceed what they're expected to do.
What has sports done for you as far as a life lesson goes? What did you learn the most from doing sports and coaching sports?
I suppose picking myself up after I get knocked down, because you get knocked down a lot. And in baseball, there's quite a bit of failure. And that's maybe the best lesson.
When you were coaching, how did you encourage students? What did you use? What was the motivation? Let's say some kid came up to you and said, I want to follow in your footsteps, Jack. What would you tell them? How would you mentor them?
Wow, that's a tough question. I would set some limits as what's expected of them, and I would try to make the game fun, because we did have a few guys who went on and became pretty good in the sport of baseball and minor league and major league baseball, but only a small percentage of them. Most of them were college students, and they did other things in their life.
And of course, you always encourage them to invest deeply into their education.
Absolutely, yeah. They had two main priorities: their education and baseball. That's how I looked at it.
I would have said their education and their education. Here he is, the Lifetime Achievement Award, Jack Kenworthy. And there you have it, a wonderful evening for the Space Coast Sports Hall of Fame, the new inductees, and you know what? There's probably a really good list that's being assembled right now for next year. Hope you had a great time joining us. Join us again next year for all of the awards.